Welcome to Nashville, where the Nashville Tempo take on the Mexico City Aztecs tonight in game number 144. Charles, we have made it to the end of another regular season. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I mean, this is a great game to have as the last one for the regular season. I mean, both of these teams, you know, they've got, they both need to win. I mean, Mexico City wants to have a week off, have a bye, get some time to prep for the next game. And, you know, Nashville, you know, they lose, they're out. So it's going to be a tough one for Nashville, Cam. I typically say it's going to ride on the quarterback's shoulders, but tonight I think Nashville, I think that the team goes as Sanders goes. They're starting halfback. He has a good game. I think they could pull this out. And
Charles, if you'd be so kind as we get some things situated in the back end here at the studios, what's been your sort of biggest takeaways from this season, from the top four teams to expansion teams, really riding a wave?
I'm really impressed with some of the new teams that are in the playoffs. I mean, that's hard. I took over a team a while back, Lone Star, for those of you that remember, but it's a lot of work getting a team into the playoffs. And we got Nashville and Lexington and I'm probably missing one other team. Albuquerque, I think. There's three. There might be four, but three right off the top of the bat, and that's hard to do. They're bringing in new players, getting them all in sync. I mean, that's the thing that jumps out to me, Cam. And hats off to those three organizations being able to do that and, be vying for playoff spots or locking in playoff spots. That's a heck of an accomplishment.
We are trying to fix the Nashville numbers here, but we'll get those adjusted as soon as we can. It should be coming up right here very shortly, and we will finally be able to get this game underway. Nashville and Mexico City, not without a couple of hiccups to start, but the Nashville Tempo at 6-5. They are trying to make the playoffs and join Albuquerque as expansion teams to make this season's postseason, and then Mexico City trying to get a first-round bye. It would be their first 10-2 season since season 7. Since season 7, the Aztecs went 10-2. They actually lost in the first round of the playoffs that season. But, Mexico City trying to do something they have not done in a very, very long time. All right, so Nashville, 2.5-point dogs here at home. They need a win to make the playoffs. If they get it, they would host Carolina next week. If they lose, it is Atlanta that's in. Kick it. We are underway from Tennessee. And that kick is way deep out of the back of the end zone, and Mexico City will take over on their own 20-yard line. Their quarterback is Jordan Sipe in his 5th season in the SFL, 5'11", 215.
And one of the things about Jordan Sipe is the last 3 games he's been playing pretty well, and it's good to take that momentum here into last game of the season and into the playoffs.
Mexico City in the pink accents for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and Sipe starts off with a reception and completion by Jonas Adobe for the first down. Picks up about 15 yards. We mentioned him in pregame. Adobe getting it going on the left-hand side.
And it's reliable. I mean, we've got a lot of, stellar wide receiver threes in this league, but one of the things that stands out about Adobe is he's reliable. I mean, he doesn't get called on a lot, but when the ball comes his direction, he's normally running a great route, and he's anticipating the ball, and normally good things happen when the ball goes his way.
Nashville is challenging already, so this game has had no rhythm or tempo at all to it so far, Charles, as we're going to get a challenge on the spot of that call. So let's take a retroactive look at the play, brought to you by Retroid. Get your SFL console, go Retroid.com. Let's take a look.
I don't know. It looks like maybe his heel was out of bounds right before the marker.
That's a tough call.
I'll tell you though, Cam, at the kickoff, I thought I was the only one that couldn't see the numbers, and I was afraid to say anything.
No, that's just that's just me playing hero ball every day, it seems. But no, they're actually going to mark him short of the first down on that replay review. So 2nd and inches coming up for Mexico City. could be a very big challenge if the tempo are able to get a stop. Or it could just be a big ball of wasted time, except to keep the officials on their toes tonight with every call in this critical game. The handoff goes to Ray Bentley. He's got the first down and more.
Whoa.
Ray Bentley 40. Ray Bentley past midfield. And Bentley all the way down to the Nashville 40. He gets a first down for the Aztecs.
Ooh, you got to keep your middle linebacker, eyes on Bentley the entire time on those first and second downs, especially short yardage. But you got to have a hat on him at all times, or he's going to bust off a run like he just did. He's dangerous. It started off with great blocking up front, but man, once he gets past that blocking scheme, he just takes it into another gear and adds some yards.
Jordan Sipe in the backfield along with Jacob Morrison, Bentley, and Buford Van Dam. As Sipe will drop to throw, he will fire it complete to Noe Terrasis, who's also grouped with Jonas Adobe and Jason Bartley at wide receiver. Bill Henry and Devontae Richardson are the tight ends on this squad, and watch number 65, Ovayanda at tackle. Number 73, the tackle, Sitlamina Osilotol, and the number 75, the guard, Taklani Supremo. 2nd and 5 for the Aztecs on their opening drive here of Week 15's Monday Night Spectacular. Mexico City and Nashville capping off the regular season of season 23. Ray Bentley gets his second carry. Will pick up a couple to set up a 3rd and 2.
Yeah, I always like watching those power formations against a 3-4 look on defense. I mean, you really have to have athletic linebackers, smart athletic linebackers in order to close that down, and we saw it on that play.
3rd down, 2 to go, and look at the running lane for Jacob Morrison, untouched to the end zone for the Mexico City score.
And just as I say that, I think they lined up in a 3-4 again on a power set, and just looked like there was good blocking up front, maybe a missed coverage, and we're looking at 6 on the board.
Wow, on that opening drive for Nashville, or for Mexico City rather, 66 of their 80 yards comes on the ground, and the Aztecs take a 6-0 lead, extra point pending.
One of the things that is impressive about Mexico City is their balance. They have the ability to move the ball when they need to on the ground or in the air. And in that last particular drive, they put it in the hands of their hogs on the ground, and it proved positive, and they got 6 on the board. Now they're looking at 7.
The Nashville Tempo offense will get their first shot at things. Switch Thumper is their quarterback. Like Sipe, a bit of an up and down year, but he's got a very talented bunch around him, and he too has had some impressive moments. Joe Beasley on that return for Nashville sets him up in pretty good field position.
This defense for Mexico City, the last couple games, they've really, last 3 games in particular, they've the secondary has been a menace as far as getting interceptions. I mean, they've gone through an average of what was it, two a game, and now they're looking at almost 3 a game, and it's incredible. If I were Thumper, I would, again, going back to Sanders at the top of the call, I'd make sure your running back gets engaged early.
Ball on the 32-yard line. And Nashville will start with a pass. That is Thumper, who had faced some pressure. That pass is knocked away by Merrick Itera, intended for Kenny Hendricks. Switch Thumper is in the backfield with Easton King, Sean Sanders, and Jay Ballmer, the fullback. Wide receivers, plenty of them. Kenny Hendricks, Joe Beasley, Guy Clausen, Ryan Davis, and Jeff Banfield. The active tight ends tonight, Jimmy Wint, James Walters, and Jimmy Foster. The Jays have it at tight end. Number 63, tackle, Hammy Wheeler. Number 73, guard, Al Freeman. Offensive lineman to watch tonight. 2nd down and 10. They'll go to the ground game, and Sean Sanders has nothing doing. Only a pickup of 1. John Fowler in on the stop, 3rd and 9.
Yeah, John Fowler and Dan Tritz together just brought him down, and there's no way when those two have their arms wrapped around you, there's no way you're breaking free.
So an early 3rd down and long test for the Nashville Tempo. Against some pressure, that pass is caught wide open. That was Jeff Banfield just running free frolicking through the fields, Charles.
There was a lot of frolicking going on that play, Cam. Good protection up front as well. Mexico City, it looked like they sent the middle linebacker on a blitz and then put their downfield coverage pretty deep and allowed Banfield to find a gap in that zone coverage. And good read there by Thumper, put him right in his hands where he needed it, and now we're looking at a new set of downs.
Itera and company cleaned it up. First down and 10, toss play out to Sanders, and Sanders is walloped again. That is the Hall of Famer Max Jackson, only a pickup of 1.
And he's a big safety. I mean, he's 220 pounds of steel. When he hits you, he's going to leave a mark.
Another second and long coming up for Nashville. 3 receivers to the left side that they'll stay on the ground. That's Sanders again. He'll get 3, 3rd and 6. Switch Thumper was able to deliver on their last third down.
Yeah, and Max Jackson, bad news for the tempo. Max Jackson's radar is finely tuned tonight. He's been near the ball on every play.
3rd down and 6. Thumper with pressure off the left side delivers a very difficult pass complete to Guy Clausen for another Nashville first down.
That's what you need. I mean, that's where you can build some momentum off that type of play. It's not the easiest play to execute. It comes down to a lot of practice and coordination between your wide receiver and quarterback. It almost has to be like second nature. You could throw it with your eyes closed, and it showed that they've been practicing on that play.
Great start for Nashville's 3rd down offense. 23rd in the SFL in 3rd down percentage at just 43%. They are 2 for 2 on the opening drive. Sean Sanders with a stiff arm and dragging Merrick Itera past the first down marker to the 23-yard line.
I believe that was Daggs, Jeffrey Daggs, that had a beeline on him, and he just threw that Hall of Famer down to the ground and kept going past the chains. Impressive run by Sanders, and that's what we were looking for.
That's got to be the 12th time that Jeffrey Daggs has been cut this season. By his old man. It's been a tough one. Seems to be very hard on his Hall of Famer.
Not sure I'm following, but
I don't want to get into the family dynamics. The handoff goes to Easton King. King picks up 6 yards. 2nd down and 4.
Like a Lifetime movie.
Like a Lifetime movie. I don't know, man. I don't know. Someone's going to have to put in the chat, what would the Lifetime movie of Mike and Jeffrey Daggs be? Let's get some good headlines out there.
There's the family watching too, so be clean.
2nd down and 4. Hand off to Sean Sanders. Has the first down to the 14-yard line. Nashville, it looked a little dicey early, Charles, but putting together a really solid opening drive.
Yeah, Sanders getting heated up, as well as that line for Nashville tempo. They're setting the standard on the line so far, and they're having their way with the defensive line of Mexico City.
4:50 to go in the first against a 4-man rush. Thumper gets away from it. Switch Thumper is wrestled down by Fowler, but not before he picks up 6 yards to set up a 2nd down and 4.
Smart play. He was covered downfield. Pocket started to break down. Saw a big gap in the middle and just decided to get a couple yards on him. We're looking at 2nd and 4.
Already halfway through the first quarter of play. Hand off. Sean Sanders gets skinny. Will get 2 to set up a 3rd down and 2. This Mexico City Aztec defense has Evan Miller, Skylar Kingsley, Dan Tritz, and A.K. Jones on the line. John Fowler, Qualtzin Yolia, and John Osiris at linebacker. The secondary includes Gerard Brody, Liam Ryan, and Merrick Itera at corner. Jeffrey Daggs and Max Jackson at safety. 3rd down and short. Handoff to Sanders, and John Fowler gets the stop. This time they had to run on 3rd down, and it does not work out.
It looked like Fowler was behind the line of scrimmage for the snap. I know there wasn't a penalty there, but man, great heads-up play, great reactive time by Fowler to shut that play down.
A 22-yard field goal attempt for Nashville is up and good. Their kicker is Victor Ironleg, and he caps off a 13-play, 62-yard drive for the tempo to make it 7-3, 2 drives into the ballgame.
So what I saw on that drive, Cam, is a good mix of run and pass. They kind of stalled out as they got in the red zone, but what really stood out to me was the 2 things. A, the run of Sanders, like we talked about at the top of the call, and the other one was some heads-up play by Thumper. He avoiding mistakes, deciding to run instead of making an interception or an incompletion. I mean, they've got something to build on, Cam.
Morrison on the return, gets it up to the 28-yard line. Let's meet the Nashville tempo defense, led up front by Jose Fuentes and R.C. Puff. Very unusual defense. They actually have no contracted defensive tackles. Their linebackers include Jay Mart, Tigga Clay, Dylan Bamsler, and Jeff Gagne. Corners include Xavier Rowe III, Chris Delroe, Chris Stack, and Bentley Bonner. And at safety, Habo Ramsey, Danny Carmichael, King Bradshaw. Ray Bentley gets the first down handoff. He is lit up by arguably their defensive MVP, Jay Mart.
Yeah, Jay Mart, he's all over the place, but to your point, they've got 4 linebackers, and each one of them could start on any team in the SFL. Doesn't really, I think the fact that they only have two defensive ends on the line doesn't really show on the field because they make it up with great play by their linebackers.
Toss out to Bentley. He breaks a tackle, and Ray Bentley unable to get much. Jose Fuentes comes over to clean it up, and Mexico City is faced with our first third down of the evening, or their first third and long.
Fast, man. To keep going on about that linebacking core, the tempo, they are so fast. I mean, just when you think that there's a hole there for the running back, he just reacts so quickly and shut it down.
Jordan Sipe is hit as he threw, and that pass is incomplete. Check that. Jordan Sipe with the incompletion. 4th down and 9, Mexico City.
I believe that was they sent strong safety Ramsey in there for pressure. Just didn't have enough time for that play to develop and disrupted the pass.
Punt is away. First true stop of the evening from the 31-yard line. Banfield on the return up to the 38. So Mexico City's offense will have a chance to take the lead for the first time. They are taking on the number 2 scoring defense in the SFL. Mexico City gives up just 12.8 points per game.
And they don't make mistakes either. That's another just preparing for this game. Both of these teams, they're both positive on the turnover differential. I think they're 1 and 2 respectfully in the league.
Yeah, plus 12 for Nashville, plus 11 for Mexico City, and both have forced a league-high 27 turnovers in 11 games. That's nearly 3 per game. Handoff goes to Sean Sanders, and Sean Sanders gets outside, switches hands wisely as Jeffrey Daggs comes over to make the tackle, but Nashville's back in Mexico City territory.
I think Nashville might have seen something there on that play, running out of the 3 wide receiver set. Gives some room for Sanders because the offensive line has been doing a yeoman's work there, blocking against the defensive line for Mexico City. They've got a hole open, and at that 3 wide receiver set, a lot of room for Sanders to work with.
Sean Sanders this season, 396 rushing yards. He is 17th in the SFL in carries despite those numbers. Easton King takes off, and John Fowler is obviously going to be a major contributor in this game. He already has 5 tackles.
Yeah, and he leads the team in tackles and leads the team in tackles for loss. He's all over the place. I mean, you have to know where that man is if you're going to try and get a good offensive game against them.
2nd and 9 for Switch. He fires to the outside, incomplete. And Mexico City's secondary has been excellent outside the numbers to start the game.
I think this is one of the teams, in the playoffs that you don't have to worry about them going man-to-man on defense. I mean, they could cover any wide receivers or tight ends in this league.
So another 3rd and long test for Nashville. 3rd and 9. They pass the first 2. Thumper to throw. It is incomplete as Max Jackson once again found the football. Nashville comes up empty.
He found the football, but also lit up the wide receiver. Talk about some pain. I mean, that wide receiver got up, which was great, but man, when Jackson comes at you and he hits you, it's you're going to remember it.
So 4th down, Nashville will punt it away. What the Tempo have done with this roster this season, in their first season in the SFL, is really remarkable. Just to showcase the point, Charles, Mexico City has has 16 All-Star appearances combined on their roster. Nashville has 2.
Oh, the thing that's impressive is, back to the comment about, two contracted defensive ends. On defense in particular, they've got game plans that make use of their talent, and getting results out of game plans where you're using the best of what you got, it shows you know what you're doing as a coach.
Handoff, and Jay Mart meets Ray Bentley just past the line of scrimmage. To that point, Charles, 56 pass deflections this season, second most in the league, and then 27 picks, first in the league. So they're getting all the pass deflections and they're getting all the picks. Bentley, with that in mind, keeps it on the ground once more to set up a 3rd and 4.
Yeah, they're all over the place. I mean, the linebackers are involved. You're looking at that total for pass deflections. A lot of that is coming from the linebacking core. They're fast, they're reactive, and they see the ball and they can knock it down and cause havoc.
3rd and 4, pressure off the backside, and Jordan Sipe is sacked. Brought down.
Clay, I believe.
Yeah, Tigga Clay with the sack.
That's 3rd and a half sack of the season. Again, the linebacking core is quick. You have to have your, a fullback or a halfback, I think, staying back there on those pass plays because they're going to send the linebackers around the edge, and there's not many tackles that are going to be able to keep up with the speed of that linebacking core, the tempo.
Well, after both offenses got a score on their opening possession, the defenses have settled in. Back-to-back stops for Nashville. And Banfield will start this drive on the Aztec 45. 3rd straight possession that the Tempo have started in, or the Tempo have gotten into into Aztec territory, Charles. But not getting a touchdown on this drive would be a little deflating.
And they got to get points, Cam. It's key here. If they want to stay in this game against the methodical Aztecs, they got to put points up, even if it's a field goal.
3 receivers, hand off to Sanders, and Sanders picks up 4. That'll bring us to the end of the quarter.
A lot of good things out of Nashville in this first quarter. I mean, we know what Mexico City can do. We talked about their balance. They showed it. Good running, decent passing. But, Nashville has shown a little spark there in the running game. The defense is playing, lights out, I think, very fast on the field. And I think they've got something to build on, and we've got ourselves a game.
Nashville 7, Mexico City 7, Nashville 3. Total yards in the first quarter, 84-79 in favor of the Tempo. As the handoff goes to Sanders, not much room there. That's John Osiris coming in to make the stop. Another 3rd down coming up for Nashville. This is already their 5th of the game.
That's a big 3rd down here. With Mexico City, I'd kind of dial up the heat. They've got the flexibility to be aggressive or conservative. I mean, they're pretty set as far as the skills on defense, but I'd show some aggression here.
3rd and 6, just outside of field goal range for the Tempo. Thumper back to pass. Thumper rolls to his left and fires, looking for Jeff Banfield. Could not come down with it. Wow, Nashville starts on the Aztec 45-yard line and goes 3 and out.
Yeah, that's disappointing. I mean, they, like I said, I think need to put some points on the board. A lot of time left, obviously, but and they're getting the ball back to Mexico City. You keep giving them the ball, they're going to put points up.
Punt is away, and it won't even dip inside the 15-yard line. Not the best punt there this season from Nashville's Tommy Powers. Mexico City gets it to the 21-yard line to start the drive.
Keep a man on. Keep your eyes out for Bentley. I mean, he's been playing well. Use your J-Mart. Make sure J-Mart is wherever Bentley goes.
41 yards on 6 carries for Bentley tonight. Bentley is 7th in the SFL in rushing yards, 837. But this time it's Buford Van Dam for the first time tonight, getting a carry for 7.
That's quite the luxury when you bring Van Dam in. Doesn't get a lot of touches. He's still got 3 touchdowns this season, but when he gets the opportunity, he makes the most of it.
2nd and 3. Hand off to Bentley. Nice blocking Buford Van Dam and company. They mark him just shy of the sticks. We might get a measurement.
Yeah, he can run and he can block, and he just took out the defender on that one, allowing Bentley to get that extra, almost. I thought he got a first down there, but almost a first down.
That was a John Madden boom right there from Buford Van Dam. 3rd and inches, 8.5 to go in the first half. Ray Bentley's in trouble in the backfield and is going to be taken down. A 2-yard loss. Jeff Gagne gets back there.
Again, the linebackers for the tempo. I think I'm going to be saying this a lot. There was an opening in the gap, and those linebackers just fly through and shut it down.
Punt is away, and it is a good one from the 22-yard line. Banfield gets it up to the 29, and that's where Nashville will take over for a first down. Well, we were on pace for a shootout, Charles, and then both defenses really came to play.
Definitely. A lot of bodies flying around, a lot of bruises on the field. I mean, that's the type of defense we want to see.
First and 10 at the 29, 7:58 to go in the first half. Up by 4, Aztecs trying to play some more defense. Switch Thumper goes back across the field. Actually, Jeff Banfield almost caught it off the deflection. Guy Clausen was the intended receiver, second down.
I think one of those receivers didn't run the right route because they were way too close together when that ball came out.
Thumper now 2 for 7 for 28 yards. Back to pass. Switch, fires, across the field. Kenny Hendricks, first down. Tough throw from Switch.
That was impressive. And, you know, who you're going to throw to when you're in a pinch? Kenny Hendricks, he's one of the best route runners in the league. He's dependable, and that little hook route he ran was to perfection. Just enough time for him to get the ball before the defender can close it.
7.5 to go in the first half. Mexico City protecting a 4-point lead. The Aztecs trying to secure that first round by a deflection, and it's incomplete. 2nd and 10.
Defense of Mexico City, they're sending a lot of their defenders on the mid and deep coverage, and they're leaving the swing pass wide open, or like either swing pass to the halfback or the tight end. So I think they've got an opportunity there on Nashville.
2nd down. Thumper 3 for 9 for 41 yards, but he has hit 3 different targets. Switch, rolling left again, across his body, wide open. Jimmy Foster with the bomb reception for the first down.
I mean, that's just showing off. Thumper's showing off. I mean, not many quarterbacks can do that. Throw to the opposite side of the field, having to twist their body like that with pressure and able to throw such an accurate pass.
Wow, best throw of the night from Switch by far, and that's the 4th different player with a catch. Foster goes for 24 yards. And that pass is incomplete. Kenny Hendricks was the intended target.
It's only a matter of time, Cam. I mean, they're testing that secondary for Mexico City, and you know, as the game gets deeper, they're going to start grabbing those little tips and turning them into interceptions.
2nd down, 6:49 left in the first half. Nashville, for the 4th straight time in this half, is in Mexico City territory. But the last 3 drives have gone for a field goal, 1 yard, and 0 yards. This one much better, but nothing doing on 2nd down, and the 7th play of the drive will be a 3rd and 9.
The last key 3rd down on the previous drive by Nashville. Mexico City looked like they kind of sat back in coverage, waiting for the ball to come to them. Let's see if they do that again here, or they try to dial it up.
3rd and 9, Switch on a rollout on 3rd down, and that pass is caught. Joe Beasley, the play diversity for Nashville has been sharp here in the first half. Thumper's 5th completion.
Threw it right into the mosh pit there, Kim. There were 3 or 4 defenders around that wide receiver, and
wow.
How the heck the ball got to Beasley, I have no clue.
Thumper is, all things considered, having a pretty good first half. Now 5 different receivers have caught his 5 completions as Easton King takes the handoff. Jeffrey Daggs meets him in the middle, a pickup of 5.
Yeah, I mean, Thumper's feeling it. He's able to get these passes off in these unique, these odd situations, in tight coverage, in not your prototypical passing set there, throwing to the other side of the field, and he's just nailing it.
Toss play out to Sean Sanders, picks up just a yard. Max Jackson with another tackle. That is number 7.
You don't have to get it in the end zone here, Cam. All they need is a first down or just a couple more yards to make it an easier field goal. Don't roll the dice too much.
The 7th, 3rd down so far for Nashville. They hand it off. Easton King. Oh, they gave it to him. That is close and worth a challenge, John Osiris.
I'm not sure he made it, but you and I are way up in the booth, Cam.
Another challenge in this first half. Nashville challenged the early one and was successful. Let's take a retroactive look at the play brought to you by Retroid. This is now Mexico City challenging the spot.
You might have got it. Wow. That's not the best camera angle, but I don't think they were expecting, or Mexico City was expecting a run. They adjusted quickly, and if they stopped him here, that's a heck of a reaction time there by the Mexico City defense.
Yeah, and they sure did. The ball was in the wrong hand. I'm not sure that the right hand ever crossed that first down line. Mexico City wins a crucial challenge, and once more, Nashville in Aztec territory will have to kick the field goal.
Well, you know what? It'll make it a 1-point ball game, so they're still fighting.
Mike St. Green's prediction at the end of SFL this week is looking pretty okay right now. That field goal is good. 7-6, 11 plays, 65-yard drive for Nashville. Their previous scoring drive was 12 plays, 62 yards, and both drives end in a 22-yard field goal.
Plenty of time for Mexico City to do something here. They've got to figure out a way to stop that aggressive, swarming linebacking core of Nashville. Maybe a play action to throw them off, something. But that linebacking core is just on fire tonight so far.
Mexico City Aztecs will be in the playoffs. They are looking for their first playoff win since they were last there, season 19. It has been 2 years. The Aztecs are excited about that, but they'd like to delay it a week by getting a first-round bye. They got to get a win here tonight. Ray Bentley on the carry, picks up 4.
He's got 45 yards, maybe 50 yards so far. And for some reason, I thought he had a lot more. I mean, the way he's had a couple long runs, I thought he was knocking up close to 100.
2nd down and 6. Handoff, Morrison breaks off a tackle, but a 3rd down is upcoming once again. That play made by Chris Delro, his 2nd tackle.
Yeah, and a good reaction there by Delro. I thought that was going to be a good run by Bentley, but reaction time by Delro. I mean, if the linebackers have been showing it all night, so why not let the cornerbacks have a little spotlight there on showing their speed.
Sight back to pass. Jordan Sight all day fires to a wide open receiver. That's the tight end, Bill Henry. Hashtag throw it to the tight end for a first down.
Yeah, that play took forever to develop, but good blocking, by the Mexico City offensive line. Sight had to get out of the pocket, but still enough time to look downfield and allow Bill Henry to get open on that route.
Chat Gerald specifically talking about Nashville's red zone struggles. They are 20th in the SFL in red zone touchdowns per game. So that trend continues here tonight so far. That pass is dropped. And then a flag right at the end. I think they ripped Tarasas down by his face mask, incidentally.
Yeah. I mean, I think Tarasas kind of got a present on that one because he should have caught that ball. That was right in his hands, but the penalty, I think, nobody's going to remember that.
I think Tarasas put his face mask in that guy's hand as he was going down. Got to do something to make up for the drop pass. 1st and 5. A nip and tuck game here in Tennessee. Ray Bentley, a lot of room. The shiftiness in between the half marks, impressive.
Definitely impressive, and it started off with the blocking off center there. Good gap for Bentley to get through, and after that, it's just him using his athletic little dipsy doos.
Van Dam, not the best block there, Charles, but I like that Ray was looking for him, following his blockers.
Yeah. I trust your fullback.
Here's his updated numbers. 55 yards on 10 carries. This Mexico City rushing attack, just in general, very impressive. 4 different runners, including Jordan Sipe, all over 3.7 yards per carry. Sipe back to throw, fires, caught Jason Bartley. His first catch, and just like Switch Thumper, who's completed 5 catches to 5 different players, Jordan Sipe has now completed 4 catches to 4 different players.
Yeah, and look at the time he had there, and look at the route run by Bartley. I mean, again, finding a hole in the zone coverage, and just having that that bond between you and the quarterback, and knowing that the ball's going to be there right when you get in that opening.
1st and goal, toss play. Ray Bentley breaks a tackle. Ray Bentley, touchdown.
Wow, that is power. I mean, he can be finesse, he can be power. Whatever you need to get that touchdown, just give the ball to Bentley and watch the magic happen.
Dragging Dylan Bamsler into the end zone after shaking off Chris Delro. Mexico City now up 13-6 because they're getting touchdowns in the red zone, and Nashville's getting field goals. Mexico City 5th in the SFL in red zone touchdowns per game, and their efficiency continues to be the difference as the extra point is up and good from Chaz Blackwater. 14-6 Aztecs, 2:27 to go in the first half.
Yeah, and when you have as the defense for Nashville, when you go up against an offense like that that's been bruising you, I mean, those linebackers may not be as fast as we saw at the beginning of the game as we start getting here closer to the end of the half.
8 yards deep in the end zone. That is an easy decision for Bamfield. Nashville will take over at their 20-yard line. The total team stats in the first half look like this. Don't look like that. We'll get that updated. 159 to 150 is your total yardage. Mexico City leads by 9. Nashville with the edge on first downs, 8-5. It is the ground game that is for the Aztecs that has been the top unit, 103 yards in the first half. Thumper's pass is caught. Kenny Hendricks, are you kidding me?
Yeah, Kenny Hendricks and Thumper as well. I mean, Thumper is he's spreading the ball around tonight, and he's on fire. He just has to have a little bit more separation from his wide receivers, and we could be looking at a big game play.
First down for the Tempo. They just get it off before the 2-minute warning, and Thumper fires down the field again to an open receiver. That's Guy Clausen's second catch and a first down.
Plenty of time on the clock, Cam, and they are on fire. Their passing game is working. Plenty of time in the pocket. I mean, he could have tucked it and got a pretty good gain as well if he wanted to.
2-minute warning. Nashville back into Mexico City territory for the 4th time tonight. Trying to get some more points. You're watching the Monday Night Spectacular, Week 15, Season 23 edition, right here on SFL YouTube. 4 wide receivers here for Switch. He'll hand it off up the middle to Sanders. The Mexico City defense did a pretty decent job, but Evan Miller gets dragged for 4.
I thought it was going to be 0, and they wind up dragging 5 out of it. That was a nice run by Sanders.
Thumper up to 7 for 14 for 116. And Sanders has 50 yards on 13 carries. A little overshadowed by Bentley, but still having a good night all the same. King gets a few, tackled by Kingsley. 3rd and 3.
Yep, don't need to go for the home run play here. You got plenty of time with 1 minute and 18 seconds left, and plenty of field to work with.
5 wide, empty. Switch straight back on an out route. Caught by Banfield. They give him forward progress. I think it's the right call for the first down.
Yeah, that right call and right timing as well. Banfield just did that route, cut to the outside at the right time, and the ball was placed over his shoulders into the bread box, and we're looking at first down.
3 receivers, 2 to the left for Thumper. He'll send Hendricks in motion. Hendricks 2 for 27 tonight so far. Thumper fires. Banfield breaks a tackle and then gets all the way to the 16-yard line. 1 timeout left for Nashville.
Yeah, Thumper is on fire on this drive. He's everything he's doing is working to perfection, and the offensive line is helping him out as well, giving him all the time he needs to go through the progressions.
4 straight completions, and his last 6 completions all over 12 yards. 1 timeout left for the tempo. Thumper fires, bottom of the screen, intercepted! Jumped the route and picked it off. Marikai Terra on the spin of the 34-yard line for Mexico City.
They lull you into a false sense of security, and then they just jump the route. Saw it coming. Terra saw it coming, jumped the route, and the rest is history. Interception against Thumper, and what we had as a really good drive by Nashville just got shut down by that secondary in Mexico City.
.52 seconds left in the first half. The Aztecs steal momentum away from the tempo, who were building something pretty special there on that last drive. No gain on that run. Coming up on the SFL halftime report, Chris Curtis and Tyler Falk have a recap from Music City, breaking down the adjustments both teams need in the second half. Which top 4 team stands on the shakiest ground for the playoffs as they are about to begin, and the thoughts on the regular season MVP. Very interesting conversation there as Noe Terrazas picks up 4. It's all coming up on the MNS halftime report. That's an interesting question, Charles. The MVP of the league, it doesn't pop off the page.
It does not, and I couldn't, if you asked me, I couldn't tell you at this point. I'd have to go back and dig pretty deep, because a lot of players that deserve it.
3rd down and 6. Mexico City in the empty. They got to be careful here. Sipe rolling to his left, trying to make something happen just before the half. That pass is overthrown and incomplete, so no harm, no foul. Just the second incompletion for Jordan Sipe in the first half. And that takes us to halftime. The lone turnover in the game happened late. Marikai Terra with the interception, and Mexico City's defense in their own territory. The difference in the first half, Aztecs 14, Tempo 6. Charles, your thoughts on the first half?
Well, we asked, Sanders, or we wanted to see Sanders step up, and he did. Not that he hadn't all season, but I thought it was a key to this game, and he was at 50 yards here in the first half. I think that Nashville started to rely a little bit more on the pass. I know that they were losing time, but I think the key here is that when they're getting in the red zone, they're not able to follow through and put a touchdown on. They're relying on their kicker, and at this point in the season, you got to be able to rely on your offense to get it in the end zone. So that's something they're going to have to look at here at halftime, and they got to figure out a way to get a little bit more out of the running game, even though it's going pretty well. But you can't expect to be able to do those deep and medium passes against Mexico City secondary, because as we saw in that last series, they'll make you pay for it.
Let's take a halftime break presented by Brakes GPT, and then get it over to Chris and Tyler for the halftime report.
We just pulled a full-size Taylor Swift helmet. Travis Kelce. This is a Giants Lawrence Taylor.
Patrick Mahomes.
Chad Johnson with the Ocho Cinco.
We have a Drew Brees
Is that an O.J. Simpson jersey?
And Aaron Rodgers.
Oh my goodness.
Tom Brady! Tom Brady!
And with that, welcome into the Monday Night Spectacular Halftime Report alongside Tyler Falk. I'm Chris Curtis. For the last time in the regular season of Season 23, Tyler, we have a good one at the half. It's 14-6, Mexico City on top on the road, and a lot of that has to do with a last-minute interception by Merrick Itera, who brought it out of the end zone and back into returnable field. That's a defensive statement by Mexico City.
Head coach Mike Daggs was saying right at the beginning of right as the play was happening, come on, defense, bail me out here. America Itera delivers in the clutch moments to keep it a 8-point ball game. And I've got to say, it's very been nip and tuck from both these defenses, all really culminating in that interception there at the end. A lot of good pressure provided by both front fours, getting into the backfield, disrupting the timing of both these two quarterbacks, and it's keeping this game tight. The only major difference is Mexico City has the better running game, and they're showing it tonight.
Yeah, they absolutely do. Bentley's got a couple of decent runs, and they've been able to put the quick strikes together on a couple of separate occasions. Talking about Mexico City, and their defense is holding strong. Nashville is not an easy offense to solve, but Mexico City's defense has been up to the task to this point. But what do you expect? I mean, things have been pretty good for Mexico City this season. They've been able to handle a majority of the challenges that have been put in their way. And looking at Mexico City, what, if anything, do they need to improve going into the second half as they try to end the regular season on a win and really shake up the seeding?
I don't think it's really much changing there, Curtis. I think it's more keeping the pressure and staying on schedule on defense. And that's we talk about all the time in terms of offense. You got to stay ahead of the chains. And as for the defense for Mexico City, you can't play off. You still got 20 minutes left of this regular season. You still could not be in a first round bye. This is a massive, massive half for both these teams. Nashville on the ropes, maybe the 20 minutes of their season left to go here after this halftime break, and they don't want that. Maybe this turnover galvanizes Mexico City to maintain their status quo, or maybe it galvanizes Nashville to say, hey, that didn't work, but hey, we were marching down the field. Let's keep going. We have to win today.
Reminder, Mexico City wins. They move to the 2 seed today. And if not, then they move down as far as the 5 seed. That could be a big development going forward. Talking about Nashville. Nashville is in a win and in situation. If they win, they send Carolina all the way back to the 9, and they hop over Atlanta, who sneaks in the 12 spot, or if the Mexico City wins. So this is a big time moment and a big time half of football for Nashville to this point. Where are they needing to improve going into the final second half of their regular season?
I think what needs to happen is, yes, you look at that last drive, you look at that interception and say, hey, we know what we can do. We've been able to march down the field, and as Gerald Smith mentioned on the Matt Wilson pre-week show, is that they struggle in the 30. They struggle in the red zone. They've gotten there again, but now they've turned the ball over again. Can they finally unlock themselves and really stop themselves from tripping over themselves? Because they're a great team. They're well coached. They can do this. We've seen them do it. We've seen them get to 6 wins. Can they make it number 7? Can they figure out a way to undo past mistakes?
And if Nashville does do the job, they come back against Mexico City and win this game. They play Carolina in the 8-9 matchup in the wild card round. So that is how this first half and the rest of this game looks. Let's talk about the top 4 seeds for a second, and just for grins, let's include the potential 5th in that. And you take a look at Arizona in that conversation as well, because it really just flips around. That said, of those 5 teams, which one stands on the shakiest ground going into the playoff bracket? What is a weakness that other teams will look to exploit, and will it be enough to overcome?
Easily Minnesota. And here is why. If things stay as they are, Minnesota goes to the 3 seed, which means if everything plays out the way it is, Minnesota could be on the road to Mexico City. And just like this past week, going on the road to a non-playoff team in Chicago and losing in spectacular fashion. Mickey misses not just one kick here at the end of the season, missed a go-ahead field goal at the beginning of the season as well, a bookend of missed field goals. And so what has to happen here for Minnesota? They do not want Mexico City to win. If Mexico City wins, Minnesota have to go potentially to the Aztecs to make the championship game. And I think that's the biggest weakness out of any of these top 5 teams.
Fair enough. If Nashville's to win, though, they go up to the 2 seed, and then their matchup changes dramatically. That could be very, very interesting. And now we'll actually have a detailed breakdown of the wildcard matchups in the post-game show tonight. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for that as this game comes to a close after the second half is done. Now let's talk about a topic that really hasn't gotten a lot of love in this latter half of the season. And Cam said it best, this topic does not jump off the page. There's not really a lot of true, clear-cut number ones for the MVP race of the regular season in the SFL. But I'm going to task you with picking one. Now, is it somebody that you go with that is not necessarily statistically heavy? Or is it someone who has just made a big time impact on their team that outmeasures everyone else in that particular race? What say you?
Well, here's the thing. I've actually got 3 front runners in my opinion, and and it's a pretty good spread. Let's start with the running back position. Let's start with Riley Quintero with 14 rushing touchdowns. That's 4 more than any other running back in the game today. Also, he's also top 3 in terms of rushing yards. Or he was top 3 in rushing yards before this week. He's now top 5 in rushing yards. He's only the 5th rusher with over 900 rushing yards in the regular season. So I'd say Riley Quintero, for me, has a good slot up there. A special shout out to Colin Hart, the only running back with over 1,000 rushing yards this season. But let's move forward. So both those 2 guys, pretty decent players. Let's go to quarterback now. There's only 4 quarterbacks that have a positive touchdown to interception ratio. And I'm going to go ahead and highlight the guy that's led an expansion team to their first playoff berth and one of the best expansion teams we've seen so far. That's Albuquerque's quarterback. Had his name here for a second. Come on. Give me my stats page. Cyrus Jive. Thank you. Thank you to producer Cameron Irvine. But he's at 16-12. That's the most touchdowns thrown by a quarterback that has more touchdowns than interceptions, and he's done a pretty good job of it too. He's thrown for over 2,700 passing yards. He's done it on a good rate of time. He's done what his team has asked for, and he's led his team to a playoff in their inaugural season. So my tip of the cap for the quarterback position goes to Cyrus Jive. As far as my third, and I think my leading front runner, it goes to a defensive player. This guy has done it all, and it's by no means a surprise to anyone who's looking at where this person ranks in terms of TFLs, because he is far and away the best man to do it. And it's from a team you don't expect. It's from the 0-12 team. It's Luke Swift, the outside linebacker from Queen City. 42 TFLs. The next closest defender with that maybe animal stat line is Dexter Jackson of Fort Worth and Tony Roberto with 30. And so right there, in my opinion, Luke Swift has made himself known as one of the best defenders in the league today.
Ooh, don't touch that too much. That is a hot take. Talking about an MVP from an 0-12 team. That's a wild one. I like it though. It definitely is gonna ruffle some feathers, no doubt. Anyway, a couple of good MVP candidates out there. Cyrus Jive definitely deserves a look. Riley Quintero moving over from wide receiver into the running back spot. And Cameron in the pregame or in the this week in the SFL today he had mentioned the question, does Carolina have the best rushing attack in the league? And it is anchored by Riley Quintero, and then Harish Prasad is the backup. So it's an interesting question to pose to the SFL faithful. But a lot more questions than answers, even with a half of football left in this 23rd regular season in the SFL's history. And we are going to have the last half of football on the way. Mexico City has a 14-6 advantage over Nashville as we go to the third quarter. Cameron Irvine, Charles Doherty on the other side of this. Thanks for watching the halftime report. We'll see you guys postgame.
Welcome back to the SFL's Monday Night Spectacular here from Nashville. Thank you, guys. And yeah, Tyler Falk picking an MVP from an 0-12 team. That'll probably cause some conversation for sure. But shout out Luke Swift for a great season. Charles, you got any opinions on who should be MVP?
Again, I have to look a little bit more, and I don't think anyone really jumps out. One person, there's a couple people. I want to get my numbers right before I start throwing that out to the community.
I will say Colin Hart, #1 in rushing yards, but just the 7 touchdowns, so I can see the case for Quintero, who's been excellent. Start of the second half here. Oh, and Jeffrey Daggs is about to get re-signed and maybe get a bonus. Touchdown and a pick six. 11 seconds into the third quarter.
Fourth of the season for Daggs, and man, that was a nail right in the heart for Nashville, starting out the series. I was gonna say, that Nashville was doing okay, except for in the red zone, and here they throw that pick. We're on the very first play, and man, now they're in a little bit of a hole. They can fight out of it, but man, it's definitely not what they wanted.
Wow. Jeffrey Daggs with a game-changing play. His interception, now his 4th pick six of his career. That is 3rd best in his own secondary. But an incredible moment in time for Mexico City, who played better in the first half than Nashville, but not by much. And now all of a sudden it's a 15-point game.
We talked about the secondary for Mexico City. Man, they are so dangerous. And these last 3 games, they've really turned it up a notch, and that's scary for the rest of the league, that the defensive backs have really been hawks in the secondary, getting those interceptions.
Switch thumper, 9 of 17 in that first half. All in all, played pretty good. That was a throw that he would want to have back.
And they had 3-minute advantage in time of possession as well.
Sanders, they'll keep it back on the ground again. He'll get 3 yards. Sanders, 50 yards on 13 carries in the first half, was a pretty good clip. See if he can keep it going.
And my grandson was watching the screen at halftime saying what he wanted for Christmas, and I didn't know what the heck he was talking about. It looked like he was looking at Curtis.
Yeah, we were getting some of that in the chat too. Hey, if you can rock the Santa look, you can rock just about anything.
He's doing it. He is yo-ho-ho.
King with the 1-yard gain, 3rd and 6.
I guess that might be more pirate.
That's why I was laughing about it. Just imagining Curtis in an eye patch with a sword.
He used to be on Queen City, so he's got
he was the logo for Queen City a while ago. That's the perfect.
Yo-ho-ho. I'm sticking with it.
That's the perfect combo. He's the yo-ho-ho Santa. Unbelievable. Yeah. We found his Halloween costume for this year. Thumper is decked. A loss of 7. A.K. Jones gets the booty on 3rd down.
Oh gosh. Oh my God, that was like a UFC takedown right there. 5th of the season, and man, that hurt. Oh, I hope he gets up after that one.
A 3 and out for Nashville, and Mexico City has come out in this second half, storming the field.
On that one, holy smokes! All right, Cam, that was bone rattling.
Morrison on the return to the 38-yard line, and Mexico City now with pretty good field position. Nashville just has, this is very similar to what we saw in the Baltimore DC game a couple weeks ago, Charles.
Exactly. Read my mind, and I don't know. I don't know what Ramos gave to the defense in the locker room, but man, holy smokes.
$8:15 to go in the third quarter, and Jordan Sipe will hand the ball off on a delay to Bentley. He gets crushed by Jay Mart, who picks up tackle number 7.
And Nashville desperately needs the defense, that aggressive defense, that linebacking core to do something, turn the tables here. Interception, sack, fumble, whatever. They got to do something and get it back to their offense.
And Ray Bentley, and he got a long 2 there. Skippy 199 super chat. Give him the booty. It was a pirate reference, guys. It was a pirate reference. That'll get clipped and used everywhere.
Yep. How much ammunition?
It's the price of being famous, Charles. 3rd down and 5. 4 wide, rolling away from the triple set, and that is caught by Adobe. 1st down to the 45-yard line.
You know, that play was run to perfection. I mean, the blocking on that rollout, everyone, all hats were covered, and just enough time for the wide receiver to get into the gap of the zone coverage. You know, when a rollout gets run to perfection, it's a work of art. But a lot of times it gets smashed by those defensive ends.
Sipe to throw, fires, that is caught. The onslaught continues here in the third quarter, and so does the chat insanity. Harish Prasad, swiggity swooty.
Sipe's going to the craps table there, throwing it right over the defender.
Wow. Nashville needs something, and huge props to Jordan Sipe tonight. 7 of 9 for 89 yards, mistake-free football. Nashville desperately needs a turnover. 27 picks this season, first in the league. None tonight as Bentley picks up 7.
It's smart to that you've got an aggressive Nashville defense. Line up in a bunch set and run down the middle, and you're being able to effectively get 7 yards on that. That's quite an accomplishment.
6:20 to go in the third. Nashville's season slipping away from them as Atlanta tries to crawl back into the playoff picture. Morrison with his 3rd carry of the night, and his previous 2 had gone for a combined 34 yards, so only 1 on that one.
This is not a lot of pressure here by Mexico City. They've got the whole playbook open. I'm always going to go for a run on this one, and it looks like we're going to see that.
John Fowler's first super chat. Stay positive. It's easy for Fowler tonight to do just that. Bentley is going to get the 1st down. That was a close call, too.
That was a good run. I mean, that takes the wind out of Nashville's sails there. They're looking at getting some more points up on the board. That's a worst case scenario. The defense has got to do something to trip up Mexico City.
No challenge delay. Morrison got 4.
And they're the offense for Mexico City coming out of here in this second half. They've been firing on all cylinders, and Nashville's on their heels, Cam.
2nd down and 6. Toss out to Bentley, and Bentley will lose a yard. A huge 3rd and 7 coming up here.
Definitely huge. But the right in field goal range, and Mexico City doesn't have to do anything too aggressive. They line up with 4.
Could be Jordan Sipe's biggest throw of the season. Sipe dropped the throw, hit as he threw, and it's incomplete. That was intense pressure he was under off the backside. Once again, already took a sack like that from A.K. Jones. And they'll have to kick a field goal for the first time tonight. Mexico City finally stops the bleeding.
It's a small victory there for the Nashville defense, but now it's time for the offense of Nashville to step up and get the ball in the end zone.
A 35-yard field goal for Blackwater, and no problem there. 24-6. Mexico City has scored 10 points in the first 5 minutes of this half. Nashville has a turnover and 0 first downs. But if they can finally get in the end zone, Charles, it makes it a 2-score game.
I mean, the good news is that they've got some effective running by Sean Sanders. I think they need to, maybe use a little bit more of the shorter routes there for passing to build up some confidence, and Thumper needs to get back, and also some conservative passes. So kind of keep the ball away from that aggressive secondary of Mexico City.
Beasley gets it to the 31-yard line. Nashville loss eliminates the tempo, and it would be Atlanta getting into the playoffs as the 12 seed to take on Arizona in the 12-5 matchup, but that also means that Arizona does not get their first round bye. Instead, Mexico City takes it from the Scorpions, and right now that is the more likely scenario. With 4:35 to go in the third, they'll pitch it out to Sanders. Sanders with some running room gets 6 before Max Jackson gives him a smack.
Nice play on first down. Cam got 6 yards on the pitch. There's something to build on. Got to keep that defense, Mexico City, on their heels, kind of mix it up. My advice is don't push it too far deep.
2nd and 4. Nashville doesn't need to panic. They just need to put something together. The handoff goes to King, and King nearly got the first down. Even a field goal, Charles, makes it a 2-touchdown game. Nashville's just got to relax.
Yeah, definitely, but they have to get something positive going that they can build on. I mean, the worst thing that can happen is get the ball back in Mexico City hands.
3rd and 1. Nashville needs this. Handoff, Sanders, and cannot get away.
Wow. Great play by Osiris, Cam. Just looked like he was turning, Sanders was turning inside, but quick reaction by Osiris just shut it down. No positive yardage. Actually, it might have been a loss on that one. And they're getting the ball back, and, worst thing possible for Nashville at this point in the game.
Nashville's had 2 drives that went 12 plays, ending in field goals. The rest of their drives, Charles, all 5 of them have been either 3-and-outs or a turnover prior to the 4th play of the drive. It's unbelievable.
You're going up against Bentley, who's on fire so far tonight. Hasn't been in the end zone yet, but man, he's got he's knocking on the door of 100 yards, averaging 4.4. And Dan Morrison, you can't forget them either. All the running backs have been doing well for Mexico City.
Sipe to throw, fires, that's caught by Henry. Nashville has more total yards, more passing yards, more first downs than Mexico City, but they're down by 18 with no momentum as Henry gets his 2nd catch.
It seems like they go in spurts and, they sputter, especially, like we said, in the red zone, Cam. They have to figure out a way to get a sustained drive with, a touchdown at the end of it.
2:50 to go in the third. 1st and 10. Handoff to Bentley. This time, Tigga Clay is there for his 5th tackle. He has a sack tonight as well. 2nd and 7.
Another example there of that fast swarming linebacking core of Nashville. They got to hit and cause a turnover.
Pass is caught by Henry, and I think he was even interfered with.
Not those kind of hits.
They'll take the spot foul and make it 1st and 10.
Definitely. Mexico City, one of the things I said at the top of the call is, they're balanced. They can go get you by the pass, they can get you by the run, and that's, what you're looking for a playoff team that's going to go deep. They're balanced, so if one phase of the game isn't working out, they can kind of lean back on the other, and so far both phases have been going pretty well for Mexico City.
It was the weakest PI I've ever seen. Doesn't matter. Jordan Sipe, 8 for 11, 102 yards, a 101.3 QBR. Handoff to Bentley, and Ray makes something out of nothing, gets 3, now up to 80 yards tonight.
I thought King Bradshaw was going to have a big tackle on that play, but Bentley just powered through and, got a couple extra yards on that one.
Second down, 7. Levante Richardson goes in motion. Not often thrown to, but he has had some big receptions this season. 12 catches for 158. Nothing there. Big 3rd and 7. Coming up after Morrison is stuffed by Bamsler.
A big third down is right. I mean, do they go aggressive or do they sit back? I think at this point of the game, you're down by 18. I think it's okay to get a little aggressive here.
Third down, 7. 4 for 9 is Mexico City on third down tonight. All kinds of time. That pass is incomplete. Big hit from Chris Stock will force a fourth down.
Or you can go for deep coverage and execute it perfectly, like they did. You've got two different options, and they picked the right one.
I'm kind of bummed, Charles. Jordan Sipe has not run tonight. 8 carries for 63 yards, averaging 8 yards a carry on the season. He can run when he wants to, but likes to throw outside the pocket. Oh, Bamfield is ripped down. I think that was Morrison. That'll be the 15-yard variety.
Oh, wow. I thought it was going the other way for a second there. Good. Good for Nashville. One thing they didn't want to have is ball deeper in their own territory. So, got a little bit of break in the clouds and some sunshine on them. Let's see if they can capitalize.
1 minute to go in the third. Nashville still in this thing, but they have had a third quarter to forget. Handoff, nothing. John Fowler actually with a TFL, and that is the 4th tackle for loss for Mexico City tonight.
Yeah, he's Fowler starting to stake his claim there in the middle of the field. We saw at the beginning of the game Sanders getting a lot of good runs up the middle, but so far in the second half, Fowler's been shutting it down.
Second down, 11 for the tempo. Thumper checked down, and Ballmer, who's been absent from tonight's game plan, drops the pass, 3rd and 11.
Not a bad, decision by Thumper to dump it off to the fullback, but man, you got to bring that ball in.
3rd and 11. Nashville trying to avoid their 6th 3-and-out or worse tonight. Thumper fires, that is incomplete, into traffic. Mexico City's defense, the number 2 scoring defense in the SFL, is just crushing Nashville's playoff hopes right now.
Yeah, and they, the thing that makes them so dangerous, they can execute man-to-man, they can execute zone to perfection, and not a lot of options for your passing game against Mexico City.
This is about the worst way to potentially be eliminated from the playoffs. Oh, Morrison breaks away. Jacob Morrison all the way to the Mexico City 36-yard line. You can just feel with every passing minute the energy just getting sucked out of this stadium.
Yeah, and I'm going to go back to my earlier statement. I mean, I think it's a call for the defense for Nashville to do something. That aggressive linebacking core, we've been talking about them all night. Time to dial it up and, put your money on the field and get the ball back for your offense.
All 22 fantasy fields, seen a lot of great football here. None bigger than the dominant victory over the number 1 team in the SFL, Canton, and it's just kind of hard to believe that this Nashville team, who crushed Canton that night, is not even going to get to face them in the postseason unless they can turn something around in the next 10 minutes. Ray Bentley, not much there, picks up just 2. But really, it's not about Mexico City's offense in the fourth quarter. It's going to be about Nashville's offense, and if they can get anything going in the last home stretch of this regular season. Mexico City 24, Nashville 6. We're back for the fourth quarter after this.
Of the Simulation Football League is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or account of the game without the express written consent of the league office is prohibited.
Thanks, Santa. Second down. Fourth quarter, second down. Handoff on a delay. That is Bentley. Gets 1. 3rd and 6.
2 good plays by the defense for Nashville. Just got to stay focused and get that ball back.
Trips off the left side. Sipes changing the play. Nashville showing a blitz. They bring it and then back off a defensive lineman, and that pass is caught. Jason Bartley, his third grab of the night, and a major third down conversion.
Yeah, that was a huge play by Mexico City. I know they're in control here, but man, they're starting to take the air out of that defense of Nashville. I mean, they can only be on the field for so long before their quickness, their strength starts, their meter starts going towards empty.
So look at Sipes' numbers. Charles, I gotta give you your flowers. I hope I don't embarrass you or anything in front of the national audience. But you have been with me every single Monday night for 2 straight seasons, and I just wanted to say thanks. And I hope that the viewers out there have appreciated everything that you've contributed to Monday nights over the last calendar year. Thank you, man.
It's been an absolute pleasure in games with you, Cam. It really has. Thank you for the opportunity.
Handoff gains just 1. Carmichael on the tackle. 3rd and 5.
I don't see any flowers, but okay.
They're in the field. Pick them yourself. 8:15 left in the 4th. Can Sipe do it again? No, he cannot. Carmichael nearly took it away. Nashville.
That's what we need.
Woo.
Yep, that's what we need. I mean, the defense for Nashville, they're setting up their offense, and now let's see what Thumper can do and his crew.
So 4th down and 5. Mexico City will punt. Nashville may not have great field position. Let this bounce.
Oh, look at that. Oh, that's a bad bounce.
Yeah, not the best punt there. It actually kind of drifted on him. Out of bounds at the 15. Still got it inside the 20. But at this point, it doesn't matter where the ball is. Switch Thumper's just got to figure it out.
Check the air in the ball. I think there might have been some tomfoolery.
Since that drive where they got that field goal, he's 0 for 4 with 2 interceptions. Switch has to find a way. Down 24-6, 8:05 to go. Thumper fires it. That's a nice catch. 7-yard gain as Clausen scoops it up.
Yeah, that's a great reaction by Clausen. Thumper had to get rid of the ball. Wasn't the perfect throw, but man, when you got a receiver like Clausen, he'll do everything he can to bring the ball in, and we saw it on that play. Something to build on.
2nd and 3. Handoff Sanders, who's a really strong night, continues. 1st down for Nashville. Don't expect any kind of crazy up-tempo for a couple more minutes as the tempo try to get their regular offense humming.
Well, Sanders been kind of shut down. I mean, he was around 50 at halftime, and I think he's only got 7 yards so far in the second half.
3 receivers to the left. Switch to pass. A lineman had no one to block, and that pass is hauled in. Guy Clausen stepping up. His 4th catch leads the team.
I don't know if I've ever seen that. Was that the tackle or the guard that ran back there? And that was the tackle. Andy Wheeler was back there playing fullback.
He just had nowhere to go. Just no. That's what a day off looks like on the football field. That is pretty unusual. It all works out for Switch, who's got back-to-back completions to Guy Clausen. 1st down and 10 at the 48-yard line. Hand off to Sanders, running left. Oh, puts the moves on Max Jackson, but Merrick Itera cleans it up, a 4-yard gain.
Yeah, not bad. I mean, nice little move there, but I'm going to go back to Hammy Wheeler. If you're going to have a tackle, you got to name it Hammy. I mean, come on.
Good on the Wheelers. 2nd and 6, 24-6, 6:24 to go in the 4th quarter. Handoff, King got a 1st down to the 38-yard line. Nashville's moving it again, Charles. Every time they've had a drive that they've put together 1st downs, they've gotten points. Now it's just a matter of what they're going to get.
Yeah, it's good that they're mixing it up. And, when they've relied entirely on the pass, which we're getting to a point where they're going to have to, Mexico City's been making them pay for it.
And off Sanders, has some good blocking. Sanders to the 31-yard line, a 7-yard gain.
And 3, we're quickly getting to the point where the sense of urgency is getting turned up here. They're going to have to do something, get some points up here quick.
5:35 to go in the fourth. Nashville's biggest enemy right now, the clock, and whatever that third quarter was, as that is excellent takedown by Osiris, his 5th tackle.
I mean, he's been, I think maybe somebody said it in chat, he's been the gatekeeper out there. I mean, you can't run by him without his permission. He'll shut it down and lock the door.
3rd down and 2 to keep the drive alive, or they could get a field goal, make it a 2-score game, 2-touchdown game. Sanders breaks a tackle, gets away, and Sean Sanders down to the 26-yard line.
Nice run. He took nothing and got a first down out of it. Thought he was going to get brought down in the backfield and just powered through. Key run, his team needed it, and he executed, keeping the game alive.
Now they can go up tempo. First down, Thumper 11 for 22, 172 yards. Sanders up to 79. Rushing yards tonight, 31 for Easton King. They send Bamfield in motion. That's not going to help their clock issues. Bamfield 3 for 44 tonight. Thumper hands it to King, and King picks up 2. Now Nashville will try to catch Mexico City napping. 4:20 left. Thumper straight back, fires, incomplete, and that was a hospital pass to Joe Beasley, who got his ribs crunched.
And Max Jackson was circling around that one. He had a beat on that ball, and that if he would have caught that, it would have been lights out.
3rd and 8. Can the near red zone defense of Mexico City step up once again? Clausen goes in motion. Thumper, short, fight for the first down, got it, and got out of bounds. Great play by Joe Beasley to pick up a first down and stop the clock.
Yeah, just like you said, heads-up play by Beasley. Had the wherewithal to not only his body facing downfield to get that first down, but get out of bounds and stop that clock.
.412 left. You know that Nashville's going to have to recover 2 onside kicks probably. At least at some point. Maybe 1 if they can hold for a field goal. They got to get a touchdown here first. Just any points. Thumper fires, end zone, touchdown! Kenny Hendricks into the end zone for the score. Nashville not done yet.
I mean, we've seen it a couple times tonight, Camp, where Thumper has put the ball right in the bread box where only the wide receiver could get it on this play. Hendricks turned at the right time. Again, it's that rapport between wide receiver and quarterback. Turns at the right time, gets it in, and it gets it by Jeffrey Daggs, the Hall of Famer. I mean, that is some heads-up playing and execution.
Kenny Hendricks with his 2nd touchdown this season. That is only behind Jimmy Foster and Sean Sanders' 3. Very balanced and diverse offense. Nashville, another 12-play scoring drive. That's their 3rd of the night. 24-13. Now the onside kick. Even if they don't recover, holding Mexico City to a field goal could keep it a 2-score game and give their offense yet another chance. Let's see what happens. 24-13, 4:09 left. This onside kick is bobbled by Jason Bartley, and then Nashville pulls the face mask. Ryan Davis called for the flag.
Oh, that's the absolute worst thing to happen for Nashville. Oh, my gosh.
It's hard to blame the defender because, or the special teams guy for Nashville, because you're going for the ball. Bartley, who has 2 onside kick recovery touchdowns this season, almost dropped that thing. Now Nashville has to hold them to a field goal to keep this a 2-score game and keep themselves in it. Ray Bentley stops the clock going out of bounds after only a pickup of 3. Great job by King Bradshaw.
Yeah, and Mexico City's built for this. Unfortunately, I mean they've got the the skills to milk the clock out, and defense for, like we said, most of the all the second half. The defense for Nashville has to do something to upset the apple cart.
Handoff. That is not Van Dam. Instead, it is the backup for Mexico City. And what a time to get it. 7 yards, Corey Schlesinger, 3rd and 1.
The clock is ticking, and Mexico City's in the driver's seat.
They are going to kill clock as well. 3rd down efficiency hasn't been a huge story tonight, but Aztecs are 5 of 12, trying to match Nashville's 6 for 13. 3.5 to go on a 3rd down and 1. Just 4 men up front. Now they're showing pressure outside. Toss play out to Bentley. Bentley got a block, and then another, and gets the 1st down. Jay Mart with the tackle, but too little too late as the time continues to melt away.
Yeah, definitely a good, like I said, Mexico City, they know what they're doing here. They've been here before. They've got the right talent on the field to execute it, and it's not looking good for Nashville at this point.
Bentley 7 yards away from 100 here tonight. Under 3 to go. Nashville still with all 3 timeouts. They'll reserve for after the 2-minute warning. Mexico City may not have to snap it again, but we'll see after this play. Handoff, Morrison, a lot of room, and he did score. Touchdown, Aztecs. That may be reviewed, but even still, Mexico City delivers and slams the door on Nashville's playoff hopes.
I mean, honestly, Cam, at this point of the game, I just think that the Nashville defense, I know they're going to challenge it here, but that Nashville defense is gasping for air, man. They've been on the field a lot second half.
We'll take a retroactive look. The Carolina Skyhawks celebrating in the chat. Out of 16 scenarios heading into Sunday, there was 1 scenario in which Carolina would get a home playoff game. That is the scenario that is currently playing out right now. Unbelievable. Now this is going to be overturned. And the interesting thing about that is, Charles, is I believe that will stop the clock. So Mexico City will have to run another play before the 2-minute warning. Can you imagine something outrageous happen?
Yeah, this has to be like legendary. They're in the driver's seat, Mexico City. All they need to do is, they could get on a knee right now, and I don't think it'd impact the game.
1st and goal at the 1, toss to Bentley. He got it. Woo!
Well, Cam, one of the things that you didn't really mention or take account of, as far as Mexico City winning this, is that you and I have to deal with Eddie Gage in the broadcast booth after this.
Oh yeah, that's right. Where's the emotional distress animal? It's got to be around here somewhere. Yeah, Arizona going to drop to the 5. They will not get a 1st round bye. They'll take on Atlanta in the 1st round of the playoffs. And it looks like Carolina is going to get that home game against Albuquerque. That'll be epic. And as long as things hold, Charles, that is our call. Carolina, Albuquerque to start Wild Card Weekend on Saturday.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. That'll be fun.
Atlanta and Arizona have met once before in the playoffs. The season 17 quarterfinal, which Arizona won in Atlanta 38-31 as Bamfield gets the return out to the 27-yard line. The other playoff matchups that Chris Curtis and Tyler Falk will be previewing a little bit. Lexington is headed to Baltimore, and Charleston heading to Fort Worth. That's a rematch of the season 21 quarterfinal. And of course, Albuquerque, the expansion team, first playoff appearance coming up for them.
Oh, that's going to be fun. But Cam, you got to take your hat off to Nashville. Expansion team. They were in it all the way to the end of the season. That's an accomplishment, and I'm looking for good things from them coming up in the next season.
Switch thumper back to throw, and Liam Ryan nearly stole that one. 2.5 left, playing out the stretch. How about the Aztecs, Charles? 10-2. They haven't done that since season 7, and they'll be looking to win multiple playoff games for the first time since they won the title in Season 9.
Yeah, I mean, hats off to Mexico City. I mean, it's a well-built franchise from the bottom up, well-coached, and if you're playing Mexico City in the playoffs, I mean, you're going to have some sleepless nights trying to get ready for them.
Nashville going to fall to 6-6. They will miss out on the playoffs. It goes back to that incredible win for Atlanta in this building just about a month ago. They came in here and took down the Nashville Tempo in a little bit of a surprising upset, 22-14. And that is the difference between Nashville going to the playoffs and Nashville staying home. That is a first down for Guy Clausen. Mike Daggs with a 1283 Super Chat. Number 2 seed. This one's for you, Matt Wilson. This league and team meant so much to you, and it means everything to me. Everything I do here is in your honor. I love you, Matt. Always will. Go Aztecs, and that is the 10th Super Chat for Mike Daggs all time.
What can you add to that, Cam? I mean,
Nothing.
Wow.
Nothing. We miss you, Matt. I miss him calling offensive linemen fat. Talking about
I miss him saying that I need to go to a retirement home.
Who, you or him?
Matt said that once to me.
That's just rude. Second down, 2:20 to go. Tough way to end the season for the Tempo. Thumper back to pass. That is caught by Hendricks. You know, Gerald Smith on the Matt Wilson Weekly Kickoff Show called Nashville pretenders, and a lot of people said, I don't know about that, but it was more about the schedule down the stretch, Charles. This team has taken on a lot of good teams, Charleston, Atlanta, playoff teams, and then just a couple weeks ago, I think they were stunned in that Louisiana upset. It was 9-7 for the longest time, Charles, and then Louisiana did the unthinkable, and that really put Nashville in this position. Thumper's pass caught by Banfield. 2 minutes to go.
I hope that Nashville can keep their nucleus of players. I mean, they've got a really good talent base here. They've got something to build on, and like I said, I'm expecting a lot from them next season as well. So, hopefully they can re-sign all their players and build on what they've got.
Mexico City has won 6 in a row. Their only 2 losses this season, Charles, 10-7 to Canton and 13-9 to Arizona. That's a heck of a resume.
Crazy.
Nashville's hanging in there. They are still playing hard into Mexico City territory again. Thumper across the field. That is incomplete. That would have been a tough catch for Beasley, who had to fully extend. Second down.
Yeah, let's get a touchdown out of this before we call it a night.
The over has already hit, and it looks like Mexico City will cover. So nothing big there. Just switch Thumper and the rest of his offense trying to pick up a touchdown. That pass is incomplete. Looking for Beasley again. 3rd and 10.
I'm just looking at 34 pass attempts by Thumper and 33 rush attempts. I mean, Nashville has had the ball a lot. And it goes back to what you said and what Gerald said about execution in the end zone. And wow, I mean, I think it could have been a different game if they were able to execute early in the game.
Thumper's pass way off the mark. To your point, 57-74. Now 75 in total plays. And when you've had 75 plays on offense but just 13 points, that's the game right there. They are, wow, 53 to try and make it a 2-score game.
Oh, their kicker's got a strong leg. So.
I don't fault them for the incentive money. Victor Ironleg's kick. He got it!
Wow.
That's the longest field goal in the 4K23 era, 53 yards. And a payday for Victor Ironleg. Unbelievable.
I mean, so far this season, he's hit one of 49 last week, 40, 41, 45, 44. He just, set his own personal record on that last one.
Holy smoke. If they recover this onside kick, my goodness. That was an incredible field goal from Ironleg. It is bubbled, and Mexico City has it. Oh, my goodness.
That was close. That was close.
Wow, Chris Baker actually tried to get up with it and almost coughed it up. That was a pretty good onside kick for Ironleg. And Mexico City just needs one first down to breathe a sigh of relief. But Nashville never quit despite being down in this one, Charles. And that's a sign of a great team right there.
Definitely, yep. Good coaching as well. Good coaching and good from the general manager for building a high-quality roster.
Ray Bentley is 1 yard from 100. He is out there right now. Nashville still has 2 timeouts. A turnover, something, anything. Nashville desperate, not totally out of it. Handoff to Bentley. Did he get it? I think he got the yard. 3rd and 3.
Wow. He's had a couple 100-yard games. I think he's had 3 so far this season.
There it is.
4, maybe 4.
Don't go backwards. 3rd down.
Yeah, Morrison. And keep the 100.
That's true. Richardson goes in motion. Hand off. Bentley got it. First down. Game over. Wow.
Yep.
Mexico City on 2 different occasions here in the 4th quarter relied on their ground game. That is one of the most efficient ground games in the SFL to put this one away, and finally they can say they're going to 10-2.
That's like we said a couple times here in the 4th. I mean, it's a very, very solid, impressive season for Mexico City. If I was going to be coaching against them, I would lose a lot of sleep because they know what they're doing. Their offensive game plan and defensive game plan sound, and they've also got the talent to execute on both sides of the ball. So hats off to Ags and Ramos and the rest of the Mexico City team.
What a turnaround. Larry Love comes out to take the knees for Mexico City. Congratulations to the Atlanta Swarm. You are back in the playoffs for the 2nd consecutive season when a lot of people have doubted their abilities to still get there and be a force. They are going to, I'm sure, give the Arizona Scorpions some fits, wondering what they're going to come out with at game plan wise. That's going to be a very interesting ball game. And we got some good ones. Albuquerque going to Baltimore, Charles. That game earlier in the season was a wild one. Albuquerque, no holes barred. They got nothing to lose, man, going up against the number 1 offense.
They definitely don't.
3rd down and 13. Chris Curtis, Tyler Falk have your wild card matchup preview coming up in postgame. 31-16, Mexico City beats Nashville. Your final. Charles and I are back for wild card weekend. Carolina and Albert. Check that. I said Baltimore and Albuquerque. Baltimore and Nashville taking on each other. Albuquerque's heading to Carolina, and me and Charles will be back for that on wild card weekend. Charles, your player of the game tonight.
I'm going to give it to safety Jeffrey Daggs. I think that interception for a touchdown was just a punch in the face to Nashville, and they didn't recover from that point forward. I mean, they were in it up to that point, and he just, on a, Santa Claus Chris Curtis theme, he would play Grinch and just ruin their Christmas plans.
You know what? I can't argue with that, but John Fowler did have 6 tackles for loss. He in the moments of shutting it down, but had a great game. But I'm with you, Charles. I can't take it away from Jeffrey. That was quite possibly the biggest play of Mexico City's season. The Aztecs win 31-16 the final over Nashville. We'll send it to the post-game crew coming up here in just a moment. For Charles Doherty, I'm Cameron Irvine, and hey, a huge shout out to our stats team tonight, who I did not mention much tonight, but they did an impeccable job. Eddie Gage, Ron Haynes, and John Fullerton also shadowing here this evening. Thank you so much to all of our statisticians all season long. To Charles and the rest of the Monday Night crew, Curtis and Tyler breaking down the now confirmed playoff matchups. That comes your way here momentarily.
And the post-game show is live. Welcome in to the SFL and Monday Night Spectacular post-game show. I am St. Nick alongside Tyler Falk. 31-16 in Mexico City comes out and gets the win over the Nashville Tempo, hence knocking the Tempo out of the playoffs. And before we go any further, Tyler, let's give Nashville their flowers. An expansion team coming in along with Albuquerque, really setting the class of season 23's expansion, with Pittsburgh, Bossier City, and Chicago giving them something to live up to.
Yeah, absolutely. A tremendous job by this Nashville crew in their inaugural season, just coming up short here tonight, and unfortunately not going to be able to make the postseason this season. But I echo Guy Clausen's sentiments there in chat. Watch out for this Nashville Tempo team with the core they have built. I like them from the beginning of the season, the way they established themselves, the way they network with the rest of the league, and to get the caliber of people onto their team for their first season goes a long way to developing a strong culture. And so Nashville, hold your heads up high. A great season to be sure, and many more to come in your future.
Yeah, good stuff coming to Music City. Very, very big congratulations to you guys on a fantastic first season as an expansion squad. Nothing to be ashamed of by any stretch of the imagination. And now we have our 12 playoff teams, Tyler. Top 4 seeds: Canton, Mexico City, who we just saw, Minnesota, and Florida. Those are the teams with the bye. And then we start working our way through the wild card. We'll go over the matchups, and then we'll talk about them each individually. Carolina, Albuquerque in Carolina, Fort Worth and Charleston, Baltimore, Lexington, and Arizona, Atlanta. That's the 8-9, 7-10, 6-11, and 5-12 games, respectively. And let's start with the matchup that's happening on Saturday to kick things off. Cameron and Charles have the call. It is at David A. Richardson Memorial Stadium. The expansion squad, Albuquerque, the newcomers on the block, come into Carolina to take on the Skyhawks, who are in the playoffs the first time since season 19. Break it down for me.
Make that actually season 20 there,
Season 20,
Curtis. And that was the only time that Carolina has won a playoff game. And that also was at David A. Richardson Memorial Stadium as well for the Skyhawks, taking down the Tulsa Desperados, now Lexington, who sit at the number 11 spot. The big thing for Carolina and for this game, and as the card sits, this will be the first game. This will be Charles and Cam on the call. And boy, if anything has to go with most of my MVP predictions, this has 2 of them matching up to begin the playoffs. How about that to kick off season 23's playoff? Cyrus Jive goes against Riley Quintero in a duel to move on for maybe Carolina's first time winning in the playoffs, for only the second time getting their opening playoff game win. Or will it be Albuquerque getting their first playoff win in franchise history, capping off or continuing a spectacular inaugural season for the Adams here in the SFL proper?
Hard to say that they would not be the Cinderella story coming in, being the expansion squad. Something to keep in mind. Let's move to the 7-10 matchup. It is Fort Worth. It is Charleston. It's happening from Texas. Let's talk about it. Charleston coming through as they are seemingly the perennial underdogs. They've had some very good wins this season, started out very well and hit some roadblocks, but altogether turned in a very good 7-5 season. They go up against Fort Worth, who has been a Jekyll and Hyde team to say, Some days they'll win 48-0. Other days they'll lose by quite a lot. So it really just kind of depends which Fort Worth we get. What do you see coming into this one?
Well, it all so depends on what kind of Charleston we'll get. Now, Charleston breathing a sigh of relief. They weren't the 11 seed, having to play Baltimore after what just happened this past weekend. But things don't get any easier for Charleston, because the last two meetings that Charleston has played Fort Worth, they have been destroyed by 25 or more points in their last two meetings, including a quarterfinal matchup in season 21. And so if I'm looking at recent history, if I'm Charleston, I have got to be on my best behavior, and I have to have a good game plan when I go into the stockyards this Saturday night. And I'll tell you what, Marcus Dunhill did not look his sharpest in his final season, announcing his retirement earlier this week as well. And so he wants to go off. He wants to ride his horse to the sunset, just kind of like he did in season 14 almost, when he led Atlanta to their first ever SFL championship. He's going to need to rekindle some old magic and to get back in the consistent vein of form if he wants to lead the Toros further into the playoff promised land.
He has been horribly inconsistent so far in this season. Sometimes he's awesome. Other times he has been rather not so. So Dunhill looking for his best performance in Wild Card Weekend. Baltimore is hosting Lexington. Gabriel Manning headed to Maryland to take on those Vultures. And, Baltimore, one of the top offenses in the league. They know how to score the ball for sure. And they go up against a Lexington team that defensively has had worse seasons. It's been a pretty decent one for them.
Absolutely. And for Lexington, it all rides on Gabriel Manning, as it always seems to be, as he has yet another fantastic season, going for the second most catches in the league, second most yards, and leads, and with a great number of receiving touchdowns as well. Gabe Manning is the one to always pay attention for, but this season they have really been able to spread the ball around and really get DJ Bandit involved. And so if Lexington can continue to mix up how they throw the football, maybe they can change their fortunes around, because all three times previously that Lexington/Tulsa have played Baltimore, they have been on the road and they have not had any success playing at SGO Stadium. Well, they have, and it's been a couple of seasons since the last time these two teams, it seems like every 3 or 4 seasons, they finally get to play Baltimore again. This will be the first matchup for them on the road against the Vultures. And for the Vultures, they are on a rich vein of form. 3 consecutive wins, and 5 of their wins this season have been by 15 or more points. 3 of them have been more than 25 points. For Baltimore, it's a matter of, have we finally found the vein of form that got us our initial dynasty of 5 championships, with 4 of them coming back to back to back to back?
Yep. That is the question. Baltimore always seems to find a way to play their best football this time of season, and their second season starts right now against Lexington. Your 5-12 matchup, Arizona, Atlanta. Atlanta goes into Arizona, where the Scorpions have had 2 championship appearances. They're only 2 in the APF era. They look for their first franchise championship. They start their journey there against the 12 seed Atlanta Swarm, who are trying to return to the championship for the first time since season 14. Let's break it down.
And it's the first time in a few seasons here, Curtis, that we see a 6-6 team make the postseason. Atlanta needed help. They got the help. They weren't able to take down Florida and punch their ticket officially by themselves. But it doesn't matter how you got here, as long as you get here. The one thing about Atlanta for me is they have not beaten a single. I take that back. They've beaten 2 playoff teams, Carolina and Albuquerque at home. They have not taken down a playoff team on the road in this regular season. That does include Arizona in week 8, when they lost at Fatality Field by 10 points, 27-17 back in week 8. If I'm Atlanta, I cannot be the anemic offense we saw yesterday. So that has to change. Whatever that game plan was has to be tweaked a little bit. Scrap it. The defensive playbook was good in spurts, but was easily deciphered by a championship caliber Florida Storm. Atlanta knows they're going to have just as good of a head coach on the other side, on the other sideline, if not better, in Eddie Gage, leading them from Arizona. And they know they're going to have to play tough. For the Scorpions, it's time to get to work once again. Arizona, like Baltimore, have not lost their opening round of the postseason since all the way back in season 10 for Arizona and season 14 for Baltimore. It's been quite so many seasons. Both those teams, Arizona, Baltimore, have first playoff round success. Does it continue for Arizona, or does Atlanta pull one of the biggest upsets in SFL playoff history by taking down Arizona?
4 games. The wild card week is about to get underway. It's going to be a fun one, no doubt about that. And we will trim the field down to 8 teams at that point, with the final 4 coming after that. Should be a lot of fun as the 23rd SFL regular season. We put a bow on it, and we put a Santa hat on it, and we send it out into the good night. But it is going to be a fun and competitive playoff series. I can't honestly remember a playoff bracket quite like this one, where every game has the potential to be as competitive as these ones do. And we've seen our fair share of upsets this regular season as well. So it should be a lot of fun. We wish you a holly jolly evening, and we head into the playoff atmosphere that is the SFL's 23rd playoff bracket. We will see you for Wild Card Week. For Tyler Falk, I'm Chris Curtis saying goodbye and good night from Music City. Thank you, and have a great week leading up to action.